Okay, so Lucas, will see. All right. Again, I want to say thank you, people of our small group. It is important to stand for the pillars of our democratic society. A society where we have freedom to express our thoughts and opinions. Freedom to draw and write what we wish. And yes, even the freedom to offend without being subjected to attack by the intolerant, the left, and religious fanatics. About 8 years ago, I heard a man savagely beating his wife from 4 doors away. Filled with anger, I yelled at him to stop by saying, "I see what you are doing." He stuck his head out the window and replied in broken Danish, "Fuck dig, din danske luder. Jeg skal komme efter dig. Fuck you, you Danish whore, I'm going to get you." Imagine that. He then slammed the window and closed the curtains, but the screaming stopped. What struck me about it was that he felt no shame about what he was doing. We need to speak up and say no. If we see something like this happening, no, I will not accept this. And not merely close the windows and think that we have no right to interfere because it is another culture that we have to respect. No, we don't. A culture where it is legitimate to beat up on women deserves no respect. And yet that is exactly what we are expected to do. A huge percentage of women are imprisoned in this way under a misunderstood government-sanctioned, politically correct cloak of cultural sensitivity. There is no way out of this jail for these women unless we become aware and help give them the key to get out. Now, had my interference in this event happened in an Islamic country, I would have expected jail, flogging, or death. We want that here. I am so grateful to live in Denmark, a progressive and modern Scandinavian country where I can still use my voice to protest what I find unfair, and where I can and do expect my voice to be heard. I can say what I want, dress as I want, and do as I want. I have the freedom, but the preservation of that freedom, like every generation is called on to do, must be fought for. I stand here because strong Danish women have fought for equality in a struggle that has been going on for almost 150 years in every sphere of Danish society. I love my life here as a woman, and I feel incredibly privileged and grateful for the twist of fate that allowed me to be born into a society where I can freely stand here and speak my mind. Woo! Equal rights should not even be a question. It should be a given. And it has become something we have grown to expect as something natural, which is as how it should be. Are we really willing to give up on those rights that we have fought so hard for, just to be polite to the intolerant? No. And are we okay with other women living in our society, right here at home, that are treated like slaves and not have the same rights as us? No. To the Danish government and other apologists who are appeasing the Islamists and allowing women to be treated like that in Denmark, you must enforce our values. It is your job. Equal rights for all cannot mean special rights for some. We all must enjoy the same protection, freedom, rights as each other without using them to violate the rights of others. We need to try to help those Muslim women who want a different life.
Yes.
And help them achieve the freedom that Danish women have. The freedom they as human beings deserve and have a right to. We have to be aware of their situation and to stand together and to protect them and help them. They deserve no less freedom and equality than any Danish-born woman or any Danish-born person. Which brings me to Sharia, Islamic law. Religious Muslims, the left and media want us to believe that violence and oppression are not part of Islam and that it is a religion of peace. One can see the untruth of this at this late stage, often just by looking out the window. On Hizb Tahrir's webpage about their recent meeting in Copenhagen, you will read a headline: Sharia, alle Muslimer stolthed. Sharia, the pride of all Muslims. Sharia is a hard thing for us Westerners to understand. We simply cannot fathom the backwardness and the cruelty that lies within its pages, written plain as day. Even many of those who know something about it close their eyes and choose willful blindness, because surely that cannot be what Muslims want. But we in the West, who get it to a degree, see Sharia's horrific punishments done to those who stand accused. We see the incredible violence of Islamic militants against non-Muslims, in particular Jews and Christians, who are, as we speak, being persecuted and slaughtered on an unimaginable scale the world over. That's right. But Sharia is much more than beheadings and violence. Women living under Sharia law have precious few rights, and they are considered second-class citizens. A woman's testament is considered as worth only half that of a man's. A woman's testament is nothing in Sharia. Sharia is a tool to advance the status and power of Islam and its followers over all others, and men over women. You can see this in the Quran, where it is explained that hell is mostly full of women. And in the statistics about who gets stoned for crimes like adultery and the victimless crime of blasphemy. Sharia in Denmark and in the Western world is extremely dangerous. We are continuously bombarded with the soft version of Islam, when in reality, Sharia is Islam, and it is the duty of every Muslim to strive to implement Sharia law. Already in England, they have over 80 recognized Sharia courts of law. Hard to believe that people today have to live under the barbarity of these laws. And Western countries should be ashamed for allowing it. The reason we hear so little about Sharia is that we really don't understand what it is, or it is being downplayed or whitewashed as a charming cultural practice. When, hopefully, if any form of Sharia is implemented in our country, it will be women who suffer the most. This must not happen. That's true. How would we fight the implementation of Sharia in Denmark and in Europe? By being informed, and by being vigilant, and by seeing it for the repressive horror that it truly is. Yeah. That's right. And acting on that by vigorously defending our Western values. Yeah. I have often thought that women today, in many developing and particular Muslim countries, are treated not unlike black slaves during the early 1900s, in that they are at risk for, or subject to being bought, sold, beaten, raped, honor tune. Subject to genital mutilation, stoned, hung, decapitated, humiliated, used as sex slaves, disenfranchised, disrespected, treated as infants, and most definitely as inferiors. A traditional Islamic saying is that a woman's heaven is beneath her husband's feet. One of the world's most respected Quranic scholars explains that women are like cows, horses, and camels, for all are ridden. This can be seen in Tanya as-Sutubi. In the Quran it reads, "Treat women well, for they are like domestic animals and do not possess anything for themselves." The fourth caliph, who was Muhammad's son-in-law and cousin, said just a few years after the Muslim prophet's death that the entire woman is an evil. What is worse, is an unnecessary evil. Half of the world's population, evil. It boggles the mind. Cannot be fathomed. The many opportunities denied women under Islamic law, from giving equal testimony in court to having the right to exclude other wives from their marital bed, is very clear proof that women are of lesser value than men in Islam. Muslim women are not even free to marry outside the faith without being killed by their own families. Under Islamic law, rape can only be proven if the rapist confesses or if there are 4 male witnesses to the rape. Female witnesses. Women who claim to have been raped without it being witnessed by 4 people are frequently killed because in Islam, rape of a woman is considered to be her own fault by being enticing to men. The rape of a Muslim woman is against Islamic law, even though that as well happens on a massive scale. The rape of a non-Muslim woman, however, is not against Islamic law if rape is part of the jihad and they're taken or bought as slaves. That could explain the epidemic of rape in Norway and Sweden in particular. Are we considered to be captured in battle, as it were? The rape statistics in this regard are accessible and irrefutable, and yet we hear little about this outrage. It is a real and growing problem. Today, now. Just this moment, yes. One mufti said that women who don't wear the hijab are asking for rape. The hijab, the Islamic veil, is not just a piece of cloth. It serves as a demarcation line between proper, submissive Muslim women and whores, un-Islamic women who deserve no respect and are asking to be raped. The veil can be viewed as a sort of uniform of a totalitarian movement and a signal to attack those outside of that movement. I read recently that in Norway and Sweden there is a trend that blonde women are dyeing their hair black in an attempt to avoid being raped. They are afraid, and clearly rightfully so. Is it then any wonder that this is happening with the Islamic view on women, where women exist as breeding animals and merely meat to be consumed at the leisure of men, but worthless in all other aspects? What kind of society are we creating or allowing to be created? We may incur the anger of a great many Muslims by standing here today and encouraging you to revolt, but yet that is what we must do. And never give up. And never give up. I hope that I have today sown a small seed in some of you who hear this. I urge all women, Muslims and non-Muslims, to read the Quran and the Hadith and to get informed so that you can draw your own conclusions. We need to ask ourselves, are we, women, really willing to give up on those hard-won rights that we have earned through these past 150 years, and that has made Denmark a country to be envied around the world for our society and our equality? If we do not fight for those rights, it wouldn't just mean that we would be giving up on ourselves and our heritage, but it would mean that we would be willing to give in to a barbaric, totalitarian way of life and condemn our children and grandchildren to a terrible fate.
Never.
Never. Never. I am going to be a grandmother later this year. It is a girl. And that is all the more reason for me to stand here. Do I want to see her dressed in Islamic dress, black from head to toe, the sun never allowed to touch her skin? Not to have the freedom I and the rest of women in the Western world have. The freedom to choose. The freedom to be strong. The freedom to get an education. The freedom to choose her path and her faith. The freedom to choose a husband or not to. Today, in an article titled, "I'm offended that you want to kill me," by blogger Anna Bird, is a small excerpt which I would like to share. I'm offended that I can no longer speak my mind without worrying about the consequences. I'm offended that you disrespect me as a woman and think I'm a second-class citizen. I'm offended that you constantly disrespect our culture. I'm offended that you want to take my freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and way of life away. I'm offended that you want to destroy my democratic society and replace it with tyranny and dictatorship. I'm offended that you think you have the right to tell me how to think, how to speak, what to say, how to dress, and how to act. I can only agree. I too am offended, as we all should be. And lastly, I recently watched a video by a French rabbi who said something that really made me think. He said that it is not merely freedom of speech that is under attack, but in reality it is our freedom to exist as who we are and even at all. Wise words, and I think we need to start paying attention. Thank you.